All 15 parks in England, Scotland and Wales. It's modelled on a similar organisation in America, and Richard Leaf, the Lake District Chief Executive, is in charge.
It's an organisation that we brought together to enable us to raise money from commercial sponsorship, and our offer there is an ability to work with the 15 national parks here in the UK and gain some benefit from using a trademark that we all use called Britain's Breathing Spaces in return for a financial relationship.
How important do you think this organisation could be in terms of the future of our national parks?
I think potentially it's very important for us in that it's an opportunity for us to raise additional income by coming together as 15 and then dividing that money between all of us so that we are able to carry on doing the work that we're doing at the moment.
Give me an example of the kind of things you're thinking about doing in the future.
We've had a partnership with Airwick that produces air fresheners, so you'll see those in many supermarkets, and they have been carrying the Britain's Breathing Spaces
turn
logo.
right onto A246, Guildford Road.
Airwick have teamed up with Britain's national parks. Our master perfumers have been inspired by the freshness of the great British countryside to carefully craft our new fragrance collection.
Turn right onto A246,
National Parks
Guildford Road.
Fragrance range, lovingly crafted by the House of Airwick.
I've got one of these Airwick air fresheners here. Midnight berry and shimmering mist. Apparently this is the smell of the lake, so I wouldn't need it here, of course, because I can breathe the real thing, but here we go. Yeah, it certainly smells like berries. I'm not sure if I came up with some of that house.
In 2.3 miles. At the roundabout, turn left onto B2122, Guildford Road.
Do you know the figure, or is it commercial?
It's commercially sensitive.
Right. Give me a feeling of the kind of other companies you might be setting your cap at.
Well, the American National Parks Foundation has worked with a number of other corporate sponsors, and obviously we're not specifically targeting anybody, but those that have worked with the states may be an area that we could look at.
So they've worked with Disney. Would that be a potential partner for you?
Potentially, yes, why not? I mean, I wouldn't say these companies in or these companies are out. It's very early days for us, and we would want to explore as wide a possible net of businesses as we can to see who may be interested in collaborating with us.
Let's try to answer that question. Who would be interested in collaborating with the national parks? I put it to Catherine Ellis, who works in the Bristol office of McCann, a global advertising and communications agency.
It would be perfect for outdoors brands, so I know Merrill has already had a partnership with the national parks, but people like clothing manufacturers, tents, all that kind of gear, it's a great place to show off their wares. And obviously with social media being really important, brands are looking to create content and show demonstrations of their products, so it would be a perfect place to road test their products. But there are more tangential brands as well that you could showcase. So we work with a lens manufacturer at my agency, and
As in glasses?
Yeah, glasses, lenses, and they're trying to justify to people the need for a second pair that may protect against kind of smudges, scratches, water resistance, etc. So brands like that it's perfect for to create content that demonstrates their product and shows it off.
You've sat in meetings with brands talking about campaigns they might have. I mean, how demanding might they be in terms of what they want back out of it? I mean, are they going to demand logos in the parks and things like that?
I think that is the danger, but they just do want to slap their logo on everything and it doesn't fit with the context. But I think, you know, for the relationship to work and when it works well is when both partner is very sensitive to the context. For example, even if they wanted to have their logo in as many places as possible, they would probably consider sponsoring something like the staff uniforms and providing those, as opposed to just putting billboards up around the national parks, which would compromise the beauty of those places. So they would look for more creative ways to use the affiliation or the partnership or whatever you want to call it. And
what is affiliation in your world?
So advertising would just be you pay for a space and you put an advert there, which would be the very simplest relationship. But affiliation is something more complex. So you may look to provide an experience or to provide something useful within that park. So for example, I don't know, I've worked on a butter brand, so if they suddenly decided to sponsor walks for over 50s in the national parks to get them out and about, then it would almost be that they'd want to use that logo on their packaging and use that for competitions, promotions, free trips there, etc. The parks provide really fruitful territory for content creation, and then they would want to use that in their own media channels.
This new collective money-raising body, National Parks Partnerships, is based on an American model called the US National Park Foundation. There, it's done
In
some
1,000
big deals
feet,
with famous
At the
names.
roundabout, turn
The
left.
foundation expects to raise $70 million this year from private donors and corporate partners. Here's David French, Senior Vice President at the foundation.
I'll give you a couple examples. Disney has been a longtime supporter of the parks, and through a variety of ways, whether it's by releasing a movie in which the benefits go to support the National Park Foundation.
At the roundabout,
or
turn
to
left onto
supporting what we call our Open Outdoors
B2122,
for Kids
Guilford
program,
Road.
which is really allowing kids that would otherwise never have the opportunity to have one of these experiences.
And what did Disney get?
Certainly, yeah. Disney gets the
In 3/4 of a mile.
within the National Park Foundation.
At the roundabout,
through
go
our
straight
media
on.
channels and
Then keep
efforts.
left.
We can report that last year Disney helped us get over 100,000 kids in parks. That's valuable to them.
But that corporation in particular has even given its name to a phenomenon that people worry about, Disneyfication. That the countryside kind of turns into some cute commodity. Is that a risk, and has that happened at all in America?
You know, the best answer I can give to that is the marketers over here are very savvy, and on the corporate side, and they understand to in any way try to like commercialize the national parks. There's actually more damage to their brand than good, and Disney is certainly in that category. I think everyone over here honors what these places represent, that these are cultural and environmental icons of this country. You talk about Yellowstone, you don't want to put a brand on that, and it would do more damage for Disney to kind of somehow commercialize that than to just be more part of the legacy and honoring the grand tradition of our national parks.
You talked about
Go straight on. Then
companies
keep
wanting to
left onto
associate the National
B2122,
Parks brand.
Waterway Road.
Is there a danger for the National Parks brand in that? Because when we take something like Coca-Cola, for example, one of your corporate partners, they are selling, high sugar drinks, and your environment is associated with health. Are you happy being in bed with someone?
Keep
like
left
Coca-Cola?
onto
Coca-Cola's been a
B2122, Waterway
long
Road.
partner of the national parks, dating back to the
In 900 feet,
early
turn
period.
left onto
And,
A245,
this
Station
question
Road.
comes up often, and certainly you have to be judicious about who you're partnering with. Not all corporate entities are going to make a lot of sense.
Have you turned some down?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. Well, I don't have
Turn
that
left
in front of
onto
me. I
A245,
don't know if
Station
I can
Road.
do that, just given kind of the privacy.
Then
that we
keep
have
right
to draw.
onto
I understand.
A245, Randall's
So
Road.
you do draw boundaries. Tell me about that.
We draw boundaries. We look through kind of a comprehensive effort
Keep
that we
right.
conduct with the national
Then turn
Park
right
Service to
onto
say,
A245,
this is
Randall's
the background of the
Road.
corporation. We do kind of a vetting process and say, okay, this is acceptable. and
Turn
this
right
isn't.
onto
And it's a very
A245,
thoughtful,
Randall's Road.
strategic process
Then
that
keep
says,
left
okay, this
onto
is a balance.
A245, Kingston
Kristen
Road.
Brengel is a senior director of the National Parks Conservation Association, a group that campaigns for the American national parks.
Corporate interests,
Keep left.
philanthropists are a huge part of what
Then
makes
turn
our
left
parks
onto A245, Kingston
The bigger
Road.
issue with those types of donations is how those companies get recognized.
Yeah, tell me about that.
And that's been a huge debate, and it actually was a debate in Congress last year, and a new set of policies and laws were passed on donor recognition.
So talk me through either side of that debate. What's at stake?
So many people believe that the Park Service needs to be a little bit more relaxed about how they recognize donors. And so there have been historically limitations on how you would put Coca-Cola's name on a sign to thank them for their donation, or whether you could use a catchphrase from a commercial.
Yeah,
And
so you could
so-
have
At the
even,
roundabout,
just to
turn
do it
left.
park or whatever.
Yes. And
Then
so
at the
what
roundabout,
Congress
take
did
the
was
third exit
loosen
onto
up those
B2430,
restrictions a little bit
Kingston
with
Road.
recognition, but they still limited the donor recognition to things like benches or rooms in a visitor center. You could name it the Nike room, but what you can't do is put